Welcome to the Octopus Prime channel. My name is Ernst and I'll be your host. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and my plans for this channel. So I was a mechanical engineer for about 20 years, but was looking for a lifestyle change, so I've been a college instructor since about 2018. Even though I'm an engineer of the mechanical variety, before I became an engineer, I studied programming in the advanced placement program at my high school, and I just loved it, loved programming. It's allowed me to solve a lot of engineering problems with computers and software, which might be somewhat atypical of a mechanical engineer. I ended up loving IT and programming and have never stopped studying it. I approach IT and programming challenges through the lens of engineering logic and problem solving, which kind of makes my approaches unique. I also got into electronics, lasers, neon tubes, and signs when I was younger. Shout out to my friend Horst, who supported me all those years and taught me so much in electronics. And this evolved into Arduino and Raspberry Pi project with both small board computers, SPCs, and microcontrollers. I love building Linux servers of all kinds. I've been a Linux user since probably around 1997. I've built so many different kinds of servers, from database to email to file servers to you name it. In another adventure, I helped launch a startup company where I patented a new type of combustion chamber and moved my family to Poland to collaborate with a university to burn liquid coal. That one is quite a story, including some possible mob players. I currently write courses and teach topics ranging from Python, IoT, cloud, business intelligence, security, servers, data science and machine learning, and many more topics. This is just a small sampling of the knowledge I've collected over the years. All this is to say, I enjoy learning a large variety of things, but I'm also an action person that tests out a lot of ideas. I don't just think about them or read about them, I actually try to do them. So my knowledge doesn't just stay in books. Some might use the word polymath to describe me. I'm hard to put in a box sometimes, I think. So all of this leads to the name of the channel, Octopus Prime, in case you're wondering. It's a silly, but I think it's an awesome name my boss gave me after realizing I have my fingers in just about everything, according to him. So yes, I also have a weird sense of humor too. I'm not just serious all the time. My boss is going to be super proud I used the name he invented. I tell you all the above not to toot my own horn at all, but to give you just a general idea of the kinds of videos I plan on making. I thought about starting a YouTube channel for a very long time, but wasn't sure anybody would be interested in what I had to say. But after multiple different people, students, co-workers, friends, encouraged me to share my knowledge in this way, I thought I'd give it a try, see how it goes. So here we are. One last thing I think you should know before I get into today's actual topic. I am a follower of Christ. It's a huge part of my identity. So while I will generally try to refrain from religious and political commentary and keep things technical, if I do make remarks that go against the grain, you now know what worldview they may be coming from and can chalk it up to that and just simply ignore it if it bothers you. Now, with all of that introductory stuff behind us, I wanted to introduce the first topic on this channel. So with all of the hype about home labs on YouTube these days, I thought I might start there. I've been running servers at home for almost my entire adult life, many years, decades actually, and have a more comprehensive and well-documented home network than a lot of companies that I've seen out there, at least based on my experience. So why not start there? I'd like to show you my current setup and then spend the next few videos building it with you step by step. I try to build things that are affordable and achievable for regular people. I'm not financially endowed in a way that lets me spend ridiculous amounts of money like some of the other YouTube channels. All the best to them. Love it. I'm not there. So I do try to keep things realistic and achievable for regular people that just want to play around with technology and love learning new things. So I do find that a lot of videos gloss over important details and make some major assumptions. Since I'm both an engineer and college instructor, you'll find that I cover things in a pretty logical and methodical way that is easy to follow along. There's a lot of different ways to build servers. Some are affordable to the common folk, most are not. Since I don't have a lot of extra money to spend, I find creative ways to build things that perform very well. For example, I absolutely love Raspberry Pis and have replaced my old larger monolithic server with a Docker Swarm cluster managed with Portainer on top of the GlusterFS network file system. I know that's a mouthful. If you don't know what that is, I will explain them in detail over the next few videos. People complain about microservices, it seems, but don't bash it until you've tried it. It makes for a very affordable, well-performing server infrastructure for a home and a family and a small business even, right? Even possibly up to a medium business, depending on how you set it up. So let me show you its features and what services I'm currently running. So let me do that here. So here I've logged into my Portainer instance. So I'm just going to give you a quick tour so you kind of know what I'll be covering. So I have one cluster that I'm managing with Portainer. Beautiful software. It's open source. You can get a business edition, but I'm just running the community edition and find that it works great for everything that I need to do. So no money spent there. I currently have 3 nodes. So I have 3 Raspberry Pi 5s. 2 of them are with 16 gigabytes of RAM. One of them is with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So it was before the 16 gigabyte ones came out, right? So that gives me like 12 cores of processing power and about 42.5 gigabytes of RAM, which is not insubstantial. You can actually run a lot of services on there. So you can see here, I'm running 10 software stacks currently. Some of them are currently turned off. 30 services with 43 containers currently running on my little 3 Raspberry Pi cluster. So let's take a look. So I'm going to go in here and go to stacks. And so these are software stacks. Each stack can be running 1 or more containers. So I have an AI stack, which is running Olama and OpenWebUI and Dockling and Tika for document processing. I'll cover those in a video at some point. I'm actually speaking at a conference this week on that topic. I have GitLab running locally at home here, so I don't rely on the open source version of GitLab in the cloud and the limits that they put on your projects, etc. My only limitation is the storage space that I have. I had Jellyfin running. I haven't hooked that back up yet for all of our multimedia with our TV. We have a Roku box, and it has a native Jellyfin app, right? So you can watch all your videos and family photos and all of that good stuff on your TV just through the Roku Jellyfin app. I have Langflow and down here N8N. So those are automation tools for AI agents and building agentic workflows. I have Metabase for some business intelligence and data analysis. I have a Mosquito MQTT server. Don't worry, I'll talk about that on another video of what that is. It's part of an IoT communication infrastructure, so I do build little IoT devices around the house, and they communicate through the MQTT protocol through this little Mosquito server here. Another big one I'm running is Nextcloud, which takes up some significant resources on my little cluster, but it's how I have access to all of my files everywhere I go, all synchronized across all of my devices, tablets, phones, laptops, desktops, etc., etc. Love Nextcloud. It's one of my favorite open source projects. I have Odoo running for my small business to track clients and do customer relations management, CRM, and sales tracking and all that kind of stuff. So those are sort of all the software stacks, and of course each of those may have 1 or more containers running in it. If we look at containers, these are currently all of the containers that are running on my little Raspberry Pi stack. And now microservices, if you're doing somewhat reasonable things with reasonable software, there's absolutely no reason that you can't have a small Raspberry Pi cluster and run all kinds of things that you can imagine for your home and your family and your small business. And it's very affordable. If you want to go bigger, I actually have built a 10 to 12 node Raspberry Pi cluster for my work as an example project. And that can handle a lot more. I mean, you have fairly substantial storage on each node. There's a clustering file system. If you use Kubernetes, which is what I used on my work cluster that I'm building for the college that I work for, if I use Kubernetes, it clusters all of my file systems into a resilient sort of single hard drive that you can use for all of your containers and everything. I have 40 processor cores and like 80 gigabytes of RAM available in the cluster. You can see with even the 3 cluster or the 3 node Raspberry Pi cluster that I have running for my own personal things, I'm able to run a substantial amount of things on 3 Raspberry Pis, and they're by no means maxed out. So on 10, 15, 20 of them, you can run actually an incredible amount of services of a reasonable size. And I would say that Nextcloud is quite a large software package. So is Odoo, and Metabase. Like, these are not small software, so you're not limited to just playthings or toys that aren't useful. Like, these are heavily used in industry and business, and they work beautifully on my little Raspberry Pi cluster. And my little cluster is affordable for the common person. And so over the next few sessions, I'm going to sort of break this down, and we'll use virtual machines, and we'll work through it. So we're going to use virtual machines to do it so that you can test it on your own hardware without having like the Raspberry Pis or other nodes. And what I'm going to show you will work with any computing resource. So if you have several old computers or old laptops, or if you have Raspberry Pis, what I'll show you will work with all of those things, right? Like you could have an old computer, an old laptop, and 2 Raspberry Pis running in a cluster, right? And you can use all of those resources. So it's up to you. I will show you some nice hardware that you can put all of your Raspberry Pis in a 1U rack mount unit, and to make a very nice clean system. And I'll even show you the 10 node one that I'm building for my work. All of these things are affordable and achievable, and so I'm going to try to keep this channel on the realistic side of things that kind of most people could have the resources to try if they wanted to. So that's sort of the what I wanted to cover on this first introductory video of some of the range and breadth of topics that I might cover on this channel. I think we'll cover just a little bit about everything, engineering and lasers and combustion chambers and micro wind turbines that I've designed, and IoT devices and file servers and Linux software, etc., etc. We'll go all over the place and see what sticks and see what's interesting. So I'd love it if you guys could leave me some comments. If any of the topics I mentioned stick out to you, like, yeah, I'd love to hear about that. Let me know that you're interested in it, and let me know what you'd be interested in seeing next. I'm going to try to keep up with comments and such, and I will absolutely let comments drive the topics that we'll cover on this channel. So whatever interests you first, that's sort of what we'll cover. And if I don't hear anything, then I'll choose. So that's sort of it. I'm hoping that you guys are going to love this channel. I'm hoping to share some of the knowledge that I've gathered over the many years of been working in industry, and some of the projects I've worked on, and hobbies that I've worked on, and things that I've built. And I hope we're going to be able to have some fun together. Until next time.